Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. Tonight, it is Wednesday evening, September 22nd, 7 p.m. Central Time here. We're going over our Week 3 starts and sits. We'll look at all the charts that I have here. There's a link to the article in the description below. I also put it in the chat room, too, if you want to click in and follow along. We'll hop through the practice reports. I'll kind of just look around and see what we can learn from Wednesday. And, yeah, we're going to hop right into it with Thursday night's game. We got the Carolina Panthers, the Houston Texans. I would try to avoid all Texans if I can. I know Brandon Cooks has been hot of late. I'm sure I'll get some Brandon Cooks questions at this point. But we can't trust any of the running backs, Davis Mills, any of the receivers, any of the tight ends. I'm trying to avoid the Texans if I can. But on the Carolina side, I think the one play that's really sneaky is you got to get the defense in there for sure. They just limited the New Orleans Saints to a really terrible game last Sunday. So the Panthers defense is going to be a hot streamer. Sam Darnold, quarterback 2 in Superflex leagues. You're starting Kamara or Christian McCaffrey, and you're starting DJ Moore. So those two guys are studs. But what do we do with Robbie Anderson? I'm kind of on the fence with him. If you guys do have Robbie Anderson questions, I suppose we can get to them. But I'm just excited to see what Terrace Marshall Jr. can do. Does Dan Arnold do anything? What does Chuba Hubbard look like? I'm kind of viewing this game as like a little recon mission to see just what these two teams are about. Can we trust Robbie Anderson? This will be a huge game. If Robbie Anderson plays well, he's going to enter our good graces again. But if he struggles, we might have to cancel Robbie Anderson going forward. So CMC, DJ Moore, those are the only two studs in this one. But we'll get to the Sunday early games here. And this one's fun. Washington at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's favored to win by 8 points. 46-point implied point total here. I know Josh Allen's been frustrating, but the Washington football team has been allowing a good amount of fantasy points to the position here. Let me just kind of click into this. Let's do a new image tab here. The Washington football team allows the 6th most points to wide receivers here through 2 games, which is kind of interesting. You also got some quarterback numbers here real quick. They are allowing this is the quarterback. So they're allowing the 10th most fantasy points here to the quarterback position. This is 22.42 points per game, which is a lot. So you're going to like Josh Allen on this one. We need him to be a little bit more higher completion percentage, and I think he can get there. You're starting Stephon Diggs, no problem. Like, it's really Josh Allen and Diggs. Those are the only guys we trust. And then what happens with Devin Singletary? What happens with Zach Moss? What happens with Dawson Knox, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley? I have a lot of questions on this team. If you guys need any help with these players, I can get to some of those questions. But on the Washington side, I mean, Taylor Heineke's probably a quarterback 2 for Superflex leagues. If you're thinking about streaming him, let me know who your other options are. Antonio Gibson, I'm going to lock him in as a running back 2. And Terry McLaurin, like I kind of wanted to put him as a wide receiver 1. I just want to see maybe one more game. Buffalo's defense is a little stingier against wide receivers. But Terry McLaurin, fire him up. Logan Thomas, I think you're going to fire him up as a top 10 tight end every week as well. And then J.D. Mckissick, potentially a guy that you want to get in there, kind of like a James White, high-floor PPR guy. And then I kind of want to stay away from the Washington football team defense. It just has not been good through 2 weeks. We'll see what Adam Humphries, Diami Brown, Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie do on the bench. Let me hop in and look at some of these questions we got rolling in the chat room. What's going on, Harris? Thanks for hanging out tonight. Should I play Darius Slayton, Tyson Williams, or Robbie Anderson in the flex, non-PPR? I'm not super excited about Slayton. That might, I know he played well last week. That might be kind of hard to chase, though. If I'm looking at it, probably Tyson Williams is probably the safest play going up against Detroit. We just saw Aaron Jones catch a bunch of passes against that team. And Robbie Anderson, I mean, if he blows up on your bench, I think I'm okay with it. Whereas Tyson Williams, you're kind of locking yourselves into 50 to 60 yards. And I know it's non-PPR, so you're kind of locking yourself into those yards, which I feel comfortable about. And because it's Detroit, good chance at a rushing touchdown that one can get out of hand. So I think I'm going to go with Tyson Williams. Good evening, Aiden. Thanks for hanging out. Kellen, thanks for hanging out, man. Someone dropped Herbert. Obvious pickup, right? Oh, yeah, not even close. You got to go get Herbert. I don't even care if you have Kyler Murray. You got to make sure someone else doesn't get Herbert. So whoever your worst player is, I guess you can make the decision there. But I like picking up Herbert for sure. Not even average. Should I trade Damian Harris and AB for Saquon Barkley? I think we do that, man. Especially that, I mean, Saquon's playing Atlanta on Sunday. Atlanta's defense is not great. I like what Damian Harris offers, and I like what Antonio Brown offers, but the ability to get a Saquon Barkley coming off 10 days of rest against Atlanta, and I think it's weird to say, but I actually liked what the Giants' offense looked like against Washington. So I think I'm going to do that, assuming you're probably going to plug Barkley in as your running back too. So that's an upgrade there. As long as you have a replacement for Antonio Brown, who's on the COVID list right now, I think that's a pretty good option here. And then it is PPR too. So I just think as the season gets on, Saquon Barkley's probably going to get more and more involved in that offense. So I kind of like it. 10-team PPR. Flex, Gaskin, Woods, Boyd, Laviska, Corey Davis, Tyson, and Shep. Whew, this one's tough. I'm probably going to keep rolling out Sterling Shepard. I think that's the one that stuck out to me as the guy that is going to get 8 to 10 targets. You feel safe with him. He's going to probably hit the 10 to 12 points, double digits. And it is Atlanta. So I think Sterling Shepard's the one that sticks out for me here. Kyle Ellis, thanks for hanging out, man. 10-man PPR. Lockett and Hunt for Waller. My roster is Tannehill, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, A.J. Brown, DK, Goddard, David Montgomery, Waller, Gaskin, Hunt, Edmonds, Jamar Chase, Sermon, and Judy. So we're getting Tyler Lockett and Kareem Hunt here. I mean, you're gonna? I don't know if I want to downgrade from Waller to Dallas Goedert. I don't know if I like that for this team. And I know Lockett's been really hot lately. I think some of those numbers are going to roll towards DK Metcalf. You got A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. Eventually, those guys are going to hit, and it's going to be pretty soon. So I think I'm going to hold on to this one. Darren Waller, man, he had a bad game last week, and it was 11 points. When Goddard has a bad game, it's 4 to 5 points. I just think I think you're getting Waller. You're getting Waller, and you already have Lockett and Kareem Hunt. In that case, I would say I don't think Hunt ever gets in my lineup, and TE is my weak spot. Let's go get Darren Waller. I know Tyler Lockett's a boss, but eventually he's going to have one of those games soon where he only gets, the 6-7 points. And I know Lockett's playing really, really well right now, but the opportunity to plug into Darren Waller after a bad game for Darren Waller, I think I want Darren Waller. So I do have Kyler. I'm going to use him as a trade bait. Yeah, see what happens, man. Hold on to Kyler and Herbert. Good things will happen when you have a deep team with some options. It is also a keeper league. We keep 3 guys every year, no penalties or anything. So yeah, you're going to want Darren Waller in the long term. So I would say let's go for Waller. Kyler for DK straight up. I obviously have Herbert now. 10-team PPR, flex, pick 2. Justin Jefferson, Amari Cooper. I think that's Amari Cooper, probably not Cooper Kupp. Swift, DJ Moore, Sutton, Laviska, Debo, Mike Davis, Michael Williams, and White. If we're picking 2, I'm going to have a hard time not going with Justin Jefferson against Seattle. That one's a no-brainer to me. And then Amari, how do we sit up? This is tough. Only start 2 guys. I think you got to roll with Jefferson and Cooper. It feels like DJ Moore is going to have himself a good game tomorrow night too. So if you just want to lock in DJ Moore and then choose between Jefferson and Cooper, I think that might be the way to do it. The other name that I really like here is going to be Mike Williams. I know he's got a little bit tougher matchup against Kansas City, but the names that stick out to me here are Deebo Samuel could have a nice game against the Packers, but I don't want to sit Jefferson Cooper. We've seen what their ceilings are. I think I would feel pretty bad if I missed out on one of those games. So it's between Jefferson, Cooper, and DJ Moore. With Amari Cooper, I know he kind of popped up on the injury report. Let me see what they got here for Cooper. Did he practice today? No report yet. I'm probably going to get DJ Moore in my lineup against the Texans and then go from there. And then it'll probably be Jefferson as my next guy. Good evening, Justin. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see what we got here. Pick 1 running back and 1 flex, non-PPR. Saquon Barkley, Damian Harris, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Cooks, Odell Beckham Jr., Kenny Galladay, or Sterling Shepard. 1 running back and 1 flex, non-PPR. So non-PPR, that's going to lift the floor for Damian Harris. A little bit tougher matchup, though. I think I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. I feel good about Barkley getting the touches in this one. Again, he's coming off 10 days of rest, so I feel like Barkley's going to get acclimated to that offense at week 3 here against the Falcons. So I'm going to go with Barkley as the 1 running back. And then for the wide receiver option, I guess you could play Damian Harris as the flex if that interests you. I don't really want to trust Odell Beckham right away. I don't really want to trust Brandon Cooks tomorrow night. So Deebo, Damian, and Sterling Shepard all look really good to me. I think if it was PPR, I'd probably learn with Sterling Shepard. But I wouldn't be opposed. In a non-PPR, starting Saquon Barkley and Damian Harris probably seems like my favorite move here. But Deebo Samuel, man, he lingers. But I'm going to go Saquon Barkley and Damian Harris as the top 2 guys. How many picks do you think the Panthers will get? I'll give them 2, maybe 3. Start Jamar Chase over Robbie Anderson and Hunt. Whew, that one's tough. So Robbie Anderson, man, he is the most difficult guy to figure out in this offense. It just hasn't been good. And sometimes when it comes to a question like this, where I know Robbie Anderson, we know what he can do. Week 1, he had the 50-some yard touchdown, right? But man, like if he just goes out and gets another 5-6 points, like we can't have that. So I think we're at a crossroads with Robbie Anderson, where I know it's the Texans, but I'm almost okay with waiting and seeing what he does on my bench, because the opportunity to start a Jamar Chase or a Kareem Hunt seems pretty good. I think with this question, you're watching. For Jamar Chase, you're watching for T. Higgins. If T. Higgins is out, you're probably going to want to get Jamar Chase in. He's going to be an easy, double-digit target player there. And then with Kareem Hunt, if Odell Beckham's going to be out, Kareem Hunt's going to be on the field a lot. They're going to probably do a lot of 2 running back sets. So I think I got to hold on to this one for right now. I probably don't want to start Robbie Anderson. And then as soon as I say don't start Robbie Anderson, of course, he's probably going to have a game. But the opportunity to choose Jamar Chase or Kareem Hunt, something will be evident before the game on Sunday. So I think I'm going to hold. I don't really – Thursday nights are weird. I haven't had good luck on Thursday nights when I whip a player out there. And just because we're unsure of Robbie Anderson, I would lean towards going with Jamar Chase, who I trust, and Kareem Hunt. I know I'm going to get 7-8 points as a floor. Cooper injured, at least questionable. So yeah, that's why I think going with DJ Moore tomorrow night, and then we choose between whatever one is left over. I think it's going to be Justin Jefferson though, going up against Seattle. That's probably my option there. And no, man, thank you. Thanks for hanging out and asking the questions. I can bench AJ Brown in that league. I don't want to bench AJ Brown against the Colts. Let's go to our favorite little stat website here. Let's pull up the Stat Muse machine. And I'm just curious what our guy A.J. Brown has done against the Colts. So A.J. Brown, his last game against the Colts, he went 4 for 98 and a touchdown. The other game before that was not great. 1 for 21, 3 for 45, 3 for 25. So you can bench A.J. Brown in that league. I mean, if Cooper's fine, I guess you could bench AJ Brown, but as soon as you bench AJ Brown, it's going to be that big game that he's going to go off. He dropped a big potential play last week where it could have been a little bit higher game, but I think with a guy like AJ Brown, you don't want to miss that 1 for 200 or the 1 for 220 and 2 touchdown kind of game. So I think we're gonna leave AJ Brown in there. Mike Evans and Keenan are my other 2 wide receivers. So you got Evans, Keenan Allen. And then rolling out Chase. I think I'm going to defer to Jamar Chase and Kareem Hunt. If you want safety, you're going to just plug in Kareem Hunt against the Chicago Bears. I think I could see that being a nice high floor game. And assuming it's PPR, Hunt's going to end up getting you the 8 to 10 points. And then Jamar Chase is the guy. If T. Higgins is out, I want to get Jamar Chase in my lineup. So 10-team PPR, flex. Clyde, Connor, Shep, White, Watkins, Patterson, Tim Patrick, and KJ Osborne. If I'm picking one, I want Sterling Shepard in the lineup. Do I start Cousins or Justin Herbert? Herbert versus the Chiefs, man. Let's look up what Justin Herbert did last year. I think he had the 2 games versus the Chiefs last year. He threw for 300 yards in both games, 3 touchdowns, 1 touchdown. I'm probably going to roll with Justin Herbert. The other interesting aspect of this game is the Chiefs-Chargers game. It's expected to be 55.5 points, whereas Seattle and Minnesota, it's still supposed to be a high-scoring game here too. So we're kind of just fighting fire with fire right now. I guess if Dalvin Cook is out, that could make me a little less excited to get Kirk Cousins in because we could expect them to struggle a little bit. So for now, I think you're going to probably see Justin Herbert be pretty competitive and get 2 or 3 touchdowns and a chance for 300 yards. With Kirk Cousins, I still don't really trust it as much. So I'm going to say Justin Herbert for now. Chubb and Tyson Williams are my other running backs. Let me review that. So you're starting Chubb and Tyson Williams. Okay. Yeah, and I think we got some placeholders. I'm okay with Robbie Anderson doing something on the bench. Just the targets have not there. They just haven't been there for Robbie Anderson. I actually want to look up and see what his numbers have been. Because they played in a pretty lopsided game last week, so he didn't do anything in that game either. He's only seen 9 targets. He did see 6 last week, so this is your floor potential, 3 for 38 with Robbie Anderson. I think I would rather wait to see what Jamar Chase and Kareem Hunt can do for me. Fields or Rodgers? I'm going Rodgers. 12 12-team PPR flex 2, CEH, Gabe Davis, Ayuk, Galladay, Pascal, Slayton, Barrios, Quez. Pick 2. I'm not picking Gabe Davis. I'm not picking Ayuk until he does something. I'm going to throw Kenny Galladay out there. And I think out of terms of respect, I got to give Clyde Edwards one more chance to see if he rebounds. So I'm going to say Galladay and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They might give him some confidence booster potential carries this week. But we're going to get back into the start sits real quick. We're going to try to bust a couple of these out so we stay on track tonight. But Chicago at Cleveland, the Browns are favored to win by 7.5, 46.5 point implied total. I have to double check that now that Justin Fields has been named the starter. I want to see Justin Fields play for a full game. I think if you have Justin Fields, like the question here from Aiden, you have to start thinking about it. I just think maybe if you have a guy like Rodgers or the Murray, or, one of these top, 5, top 10 quarterbacks, I'm probably going to wait for Justin Fields to see what he does first. But if you have David Montgomery, Allen Robinson, you're getting excited about what this offense can do for them. Darnell Mooney becomes a wide receiver 3 flex play on the Brown side of things. This all kind of hinges on Odell Beckham's availability. If he plays, and he practiced in full today, if he plays, all of a sudden you're looking at a really fun offense here. Otherwise, if he does not play, Baker Mayfield's going to hand the ball off a lot to Nick Chubb, a lot to Kareem Hunt, and then you're going to see the tight ends kind of be the focal point of this offense. So as far as must starts, you're talking Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Those guys probably need to find a way into your lineup. We've gotten a lot of Kareem Hunt flex questions. I like him as a PPR flex option. Nick Chubb's still a running back one for me. If you need help with the tight end, I suppose I'm interested if Odell Beckham's going to play. And even if Odell plays, I'm probably not rushing to get him in my lineup. I want to see what he looks like first. But fun game. We get to see the unveil for Justin Fields and what this means for Montgomery, Allen Robinson, and Darnell Mooney. But yeah, this one's at Cleveland at noon. We'll move on to the Baltimore. We're going to probably go quick with this one. On Detroit's side, we know what Detroit's offense is. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams are both running back 2s. Jamal Williams does have a high floor, but he kind of lost some steam against the Packers. So Swift is the pecking order for running back 2 in this offense. Jamal Williams is a flex option. TJ Hawkinson, you're starting every day. I know a lot of people are excited about Quintez Cephas, but I kind of want to see just maybe one more game from Quintez before I trust it. Otherwise, I don't care about Khalif Raymond, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyrell Williams is not playing. And then Jared Goff is just a fringe quarterback 2 for Superflex. On the Ravens side, Lamar Jackson's a top 5 quarterback option. Tyson Williams, good chance to punch one in the end zone as a running back 2. Marquise Brown, you got to basically just leave him in there until further notice. Mark Andrews, we're getting upset. I think you got to continue to go back to the well. Maybe he gets some shine in this one. And then Sammy Watkins, Latavius Murray, those guys are both kind of flex plays. So if you need questions on Sammy Watkins, Latavius Murray, we can hit those guys. I'm not super excited to get them in my lineups, but I can see scenarios where you guys have questions on that. Go ahead and start the Ravens defense. Say no to drugs with the Lions defense. Devin Duvernay and Devonta Freeman there. Fun game though. I think Detroit can be a little bit pesky in that one. We'll see how they hold up themselves at home. No problem, man. Thanks for the question. Brad Montgomery, thanks for hanging out, man. I traded Gibson for Tyreek. Should I trade Tyreek for Chubb or Aaron Jones or Eckler? If so, what conditions? Amari and Robinson on the bench, so we heavy Mixon and Ghosts behind him. Okay. So you traded Gibson for Tyreek Hill. Should I trade Tyreek for Chubb or Aaron Jones or Eckler? I'm assuming this is a PPR league. If so, under what conditions? Amari and Robinson on the bench. So we heavy Mixon and Ghosts behind him. Okay, this is an interesting question. So I think what I would do is I probably would hold on to Tyreek Hill for this weekend. We're going to pull up our friend the Stat Muse here. Let me just show you real quick. Tyreek, it's half point PPR. Thanks. So Tyreek Hill versus the Chargers game logs. Let's see what Tyreek Hill's been doing the last couple games. So last year, 5 for 99, he gets the touchdown. 4 for 61. There's this one weird game where he just didn't have a catch. I think that's the game where he started the game, got hurt, and left. But otherwise, 4 for 46, 7 for 169, and 2 touchdowns. He has been pretty good against the Chargers in his career. And then if you're looking at Chubb, I do like the matchup against the Bears. I like Aaron Jones against San Francisco. Austin Eckler, just for this week, Austin Eckler probably has the best matchup going up against the Chiefs. But for this week, I'm going to hold on to Tyreek Hill, and maybe we'll reevaluate this later. I mean, you got Amari Robinson. First of all, let's see what Robinson does with Justin Fields too, and we need Amari Cooper to be healthy. So I think holding on to Tyreek this week does make sense. If he pops off, you can maybe look at trading someone again. But I think in a half PPR league, I think Kyrie Kill is probably the guy that I want to hold at least for just one more week, and then we'll re-examine the situation later. 10-team PPR, flex CD, Mixon, Claypool, Elijah Patterson, Pollard, Shep, Rondale Moore. You're flexing CD Lamb on Monday Night Football. That's an easy one. Should I trade Darius Slayton for Rondale Moore non-PPR? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I want Rondale Moore in a non-PPR. Let's do that for sure. Is it smart to sit Mike Evans this week due to his matchup? Let me see. Mike Evans versus Jalen Ramsey game logs. I just want to see if there's anything that pops up here. That's not really working. Did they play the Rams last year? Mike Evans versus the Rams. So he went 5 for 49 and a touchdown. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. And then I also just want to see if he was playing the Jaguars before that. So in 2015, 2019, I wouldn't be too concerned, especially because Antonio Brown's probably not going to play. So I would roll with Mike Evans in this one. The next live show, I think we're going to do one Saturday evening. I'm trying to think. I'm going to take Friday night off. We'll do a Saturday night live stream, probably 7 p.m. Central Time here. Yeah, so I agree. Let's wait on Tyreek Hill. You have a fun matchup. And again, that game's got a lot of projected points in it. So hold on to Tyreek Hill, and no problem. Thanks for the smart question there. PPR flex, Keenan, Hunt, Melvin Gordon, LaVisca, Damian Patterson, Shep, Rondale Moore. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen. If that's who that is, give me Keenan Allen. That one's an easy one. I'm just going to cover Indianapolis and the Tennessee Titans real quick because this one's pretty simple. Ryan Tannehill, man, you got to get it together, dude. We got to get you back into your top 10 quarterback graces. I think if you are in a super flex league, he looks great as a QB2. But if you do have like Ryan Tannehill versus Justin Fields, that's probably where I would maybe get a little bit more excited about Justin Fields. I think Derrick Henry could have a really big game in this one. So you're starting Henry, you're starting A.J. Brown, and I think Julio Jones probably just needs to be included as a wide receiver 3. We can't trust anybody at all on this offense. You're not using the defense. Just a bunch of nothing. It's just Henry, Brown, and Julio. Carson Wentz, I don't know if he's going to play. Let me just look at the reports today. He's got freaking 2 bum ankles. He did not practice today, but it looked like just his body language when he was at the podium today, it looked like he has a shot to play. So we're watching this. At the moment right now, if Wentz, assuming Wentz plays, I like Jonathan Taylor probably either way in this, but if Wentz is out, I'm nervous about all the guys that I have listed down here. So we're going to leave Taylor in no matter what. But if Wentz is in, Jack Doyle could be a fringe tight end 1. Michael Pittman Jr. had a great game. Zach Pascal. We're getting flex questions about Pascal. And maybe it's a Nyheim Hines game. If Tennessee's scoring points, it could be a Nyheim Hines game. But I'm going to err on the side of caution. If Wentz is out, I want nothing to do with this offense. Jonathan Taylor is really the only guy that I think you have to try to get in. And then from there, if Wentz is out, I don't want to be a part of the Colts. If he's in, let me know if you guys have questions. You guys can hit me up on there. I don't really want to use either defenses. I just have a weird feeling about the Colts. Tennessee at home, they need to keep it rolling. Here's probably the game of the noon game of the week. If you want to try to watch a football game, this would be the one to do it. Herbert and Mahomes are both quarterback 1s for me. Austin Eckler, interesting stat here. Actually, let me just pull this up real quick. Let's go to the Fantasy Fellowship. If you guys are new to the Fantasy Fellowship, you just go to the website. You click on the week that I have highlighted here. It's week 3, and you're going to scroll down. And I got some new tools here. So if you see these 4 these 4 little charts here, you're going to click into them. This one says running back. You can tell by the top left corner here. And we're just looking to see how many yards or fantasy points per game a team allows. So we're looking at the Chargers' Austin Eckler right now. And going up against the Chiefs allow the 3rd most fantasy points to the running back position so far. They've allowed 4 rushing touchdowns, which is a pretty good clip here. So 31.6 points to the running backs, a total of 7 catches for 62 yards. I like Austin Eckler this week. Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, Mike Williams, Travis Kelce. These guys are all must starts. The questions are probably Jared Cook and Claude Edwards-Helaire. So if you guys have questions on those guys, we can hit those up. I don't want to do either defense in this one. I do think the Chargers, though, if the Chargers want to make a game of this, I think they can. They are one of the best defenses against the quarterback through 2 games, only allowing 9.4 fantasy points per game, whereas the Kansas City Chiefs, they sit about 12th here at about 21. So maybe Mahomes gets stifled here, but again, I like Tyreek Hill. I like the options there for Mahomes. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, just what do we do? I'm not trusting Hardman, Pringle, Robinson, Darrell Williams, Jalen Guyton, Justin Jackson, Donald Parham, Larry Roundtree. Just nothing here. I want to try to get as many of these guys in the lineup. So before I get to the Saints and the Patriots, let me just get double checked here on the questions. So Justin Fields or Matt Ryan? Give me Justin Fields in this one. Matt Ryan doesn't really offer much excitement at the moment right now. We know Russell Gage is already out, so I think Justin Fields is probably the one you want to roll with. 10-team PPR, flex, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devonta, Mike Williams, Singletary, then Kittle or Pitts, same league. Give me George Kittle over Pitts. I know we're waiting for that Pitts game, and George Kittle just hasn't done much through 2 games here. But you look at the tight end scoring here on the fantasyfellowship.com, the Packers allowed the fourth most points to the tight ends. I know they allowed pretty much everything against the Saints week 1, but they let TJ Hawkinson have a pretty good game too. So I could see George Kittle bouncing back in a big way. So that's the easy question. And I think the next best one is probably Mike Williams. Going up against Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs do have a pretty good defense against the wide receivers, but Mike Williams is playing way too well. He's been getting double-digit targets for 2 straight games. I think you got to roll with Mike Williams. And then the health of Carson Wentz makes me nervous for Jonathan Taylor. We don't even see Josh Jacobs practicing today. Jalen Waddle's got Jacoby Brissett. I think Mike Williams and then Kittle stick out there. Do you think Josh Allen rebounds this week? I'm excited about Josh Allen. I don't know what the issue has been, but Washington football teams, they have not been a very good defense against quarterbacks. They made Daniel Jones look really, really good last week. So you see they're allowing 22.42 points to the quarterback position. I think Josh Allen, if there's a week for him to kind of get back on track, maybe he sneaks in a rushing touchdown. He probably throws for 2 or 3. I could see 3 or 4 touchdowns for Josh Allen this week. Fields or Joseph Burrows? I'm going Fields. Joe Burrow, tough matchup against the Steelers. Give me Justin Fields. What's going on, Dylan? Thanks for the question. Should I trade Ayuk and Damien Harris for Helaire and Sutton? Oh, so you're currently riding Damien Harris and potentially swapping him up for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then Cortland Sutton right now. That's a big upgrade over Brandon Ayuk. So I kind of like that upgrade, Sutton over Ayuk. But then I think we're kind of downgrading from Helaire to from Damien Harris to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Let me just look up real quick what Clyde has been doing for us. It just has not been pretty. Rolling out Clyde Edwards-Helaire of 10 to 2 points. I don't know if I like this. He doesn't really get the catches. You're basically kind of locking in maybe 50 to 60 yards. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire might require patience, but I think long-term Sutton is the guy you want. So it's kind of 50-50. You're going to upgrade at the receiver position, but you're going to downgrade at the running back position for just a little bit until things get shaken out. But I think I would do it, especially if you have depth at running back where Clyde is probably your number 3. I think I would say let's go for it and go get Sutton on the team. Thanks for the question, Noah. Start 2, AJB, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, and Mike Williams. I'm starting Chris Godwin. That one's a really easy one. Let me pull up StatMuse. So I'm just assuming our guy Antonio Brown's not going to play this week. So you got Chris Godwin versus Rams, and let's hit the game log. I know Godwin was dinged up last year, but I just want to see. He had 7 for 53 and a touchdown. In 2019, he went 12 for 172 and 2 touchdowns. I'm playing Chris Godwin seems to be like a good idea. And then A.J. Brown, Allen Robinson, Mike Williams. I would hate for you to miss that A.J. Brown game, but the appeal of Allen Robinson right now with Justin Fields could be a lot of fun. I'm just looking at the receiver numbers real quick. So Allen Robinson going up against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns allow about 40 fantasy points to the receivers. We expect A-Rob and Darnell Mooney to probably get like 80% of that. So that's interesting. And then A.J. Brown against Indianapolis. The Colts. Colts are getting dinged up right now. They allow 5 receiving touchdowns to wide receivers. So that's interesting. So I'm probably going to go with Godwin and A.J. Brown. Those are probably the 2 that I think I feel comfortable with. And I would feel terrible if you sat A.J. Brown and you missed something big. 10-team PPR flex, Shepard, Boyd, Corey Davis. We're going to cross Corey Davis off the list. Tyson, Michael Pittman. I'll cross Pittman off the list because we just don't know about Carson Wentz. Elijah Moore, we're going to cross him off the list. White. Who is White? Elijah White. KJ Osborne, Tim Patrick. If we're starting just one, it's probably Sterling Shepard. I'm going to keep rolling Shepard out there. Is it safe to play DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, and Rondale Moore in DFS? I like the stack, but I could say maybe if we expect the Arizona Cardinals to get out to a big lead, I don't know if I see those guys just needing to get a ton of targets and volume in that one. I get it. They can make they can make the play that just, salvages their day in just one scoop. But maybe the running backs are interesting. I would probably limit my exposure. If you want to just do two, because I know Rondale's still pretty cheap, I would consider probably just doing two guys. And then I thought DeAndre Hopkins missed practice today. We got to monitor this because Hopkins did not practice. He was questionable with ribs. So let's monitor that. I think I would, if I'm going to do a Cardinals kind of stack, I want Kyler Murray involved in that some way with maybe one or the two of the weapons. Elijah Mitchell and James White. Yeah, it's still Sterling Shepard for me. I think in a PPR league, Shepard against the Falcons seems to be like your best bet. The Saints and the New England Patriots, what are we supposed to care about on the Saints besides Alvin Kamara? He's really the only one that I think you can trust. Maybe start the defense. Like if you need help, maybe. But Winston, Callaway, Troutman, Juwan Johnson, Tony Jones, these guys, it's a wait-and-see approach. I casually picked up Taysom Hill in a super flex league just in case anything happens to Winston or they decide to move on. But it's really Kamara, and even if you have Kamara, you're kind of like, uh-oh. But then the Patriots with Mac Jones, fringe super flex quarterback, Damian Harris is a running back too, Jacoby Myers, James White. If you're going to play anyone from the Patriots, I think James White's probably the guy in a PPR league. I think you can start the Patriots defense. Aguilar, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. It's kind of a low volume Mac Jones attack, so I'm kind of nervous about these pieces. But James White and Damian Harris, these are the two guys that I think you're going to want to get in your lineups. And then top 5 kickers in fantasy. Let me dive into something here real quick. My favorite kicker is Daniel Carlson. That guy's a beast for the Raiders. The Raiders, he's the number 1 kicker too. So is there a way to score this? So through 2 games, Daniel Carlson is the leader with 23 points. The Patriots kick a lot of field goals. Mac Jones is going to be safe and steady and move the ball. So I guess that's a really good option for the Patriots. You got Dustin Hopkins against, I guess he is the Washington kicker. Brandon McManus is number 4, and Matt Gay for the Rams is number 5. Graham Gano was really impressive on Thursday. He's a guy that's probably pretty sneaky. Greg the leg, he should be okay. I'm nervous about. Sometimes he gets in a funk. Sometimes he gets in a little bit of a funk. Maybe you see the Robbie Gould have a good game going up against the Packers. Justin Tucker's not really doing too much. They're scoring too many touchdowns. But man, Daniel Carlson's my favorite. He's probably one of the hottest kickers that you could pick up at the moment. And yeah, Jeff Wilson friendly. This is a public service announcement. If you have an IR spot, go pick up Jeff Wilson, slide him into your IR, and then you get another free pickup after you're done with that. Charlie, thanks for hanging out, my man. Mike Davis, Chase Edmonds, Devonta Smith, Corey Davis, LaVisca, Will Fuller. Pick 2 in PPR this week. Okay, we're going to cross Corey Davis off the list. We need to see more. It's a tough matchup against Denver. Edmonds, he's the one that I want in my lineup for sure, especially since this is a PPR league. He's a safe guy for 10 to 15 points, and I feel really good about him going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. There is some appeal. I can see wanting to get Will Fuller in the lineup, but with Jacoby Brissett, I'm probably going to cross Will Fuller off the list, so we've crossed Corey and Fuller. Laviska Shenault, I kind of want to cross him off the list too, because first of all, I was amazed that he practiced this week. Or today, he had a shoulder thing that MRI kind of just, no one said anything. And apparently Visca practices in full today. Jags offense, I need to see it, I think, almost before I trust Visca again. So it's down to Edmonds. Well, I'm going to lock Edmonds in. If we have to pick 2, it's between Devonta and Mike Davis. And I just think the nature of a Monday Night Football game, I kind of want to get Devonta Smith in there with Mike Davis having to worry about Cordero Patterson. That makes me a little uneasy with Mike Davis in a game against the Giants. So I'm going to probably say Edmonds and Devonta Smith. Should I start Daniel Jones, 25, or Teddy Bridgewater, 28? Give me Daniel Jones. He's cheaper, and I just think against the Falcons that could be a fun game. Thanks for hanging out, Matt. That's a good question here. Alvin Kamara, Damian Harris, Clyde Edwards, Tony Pollard can only start 2. We're going to start Alvin Kamara. I know it was frustrating, but he's still going to get you 7, to 10 points as a floor. And if they do score a touchdown, it's probably him. I think Tony Pollard is really exciting. They didn't really show us much week 1 with Tony Pollard, but week 2, man, they kind of just unleashed him. But I feel like in order for him to play that well, he needs to score a touchdown. Whereas Damian Harris, that's guaranteed volume. So I'm going to say Kamara and Damian Harris. We need Clyde Edwards to prove it, I think, in this case. So I'm going to roll. I can only start 2. We're going to go with Damian Harris and Alvin Kamara. Carlson averaging 15 points per game. Might need to flex him. Yes. Should I start Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen? Whew. Jalen Hurts on Monday Night Football or Josh Allen? I'm going to roll with Josh Allen in that one. I think this Washington football team Buffalo Bills game could be kind of fun and wild. No problem. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me and asking some good questions here. Matt Stafford for Tannehill. I'm probably going to I'm going to hold on to Matt Stafford. I just think I trust him as a little bit more. Derrick Henry gets too many touchdowns, whereas I think Stafford's probably the guy that you want. But for this week, Stafford against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tannehill versus the Colts. I'm probably going to lean with Tannehill in this one just for this week. We got Zeke too. I have no clue what to do with him. Pollard looked he looked too good. It's making us nervous. I mean, they had 2 top 10 running backs last week. But again, we're looking at a 1-game sample where Tony Pollard got a ton of touches in a low-scoring game against. Now they're playing against the Eagles, a divisional opponent. And keep in mind too, last week, Dak Prescott didn't throw any touchdowns. Like he's probably not going to have another game like that where he doesn't score a touchdown. So I'm going to err on the side of caution with Tony Pollard. You want Zeke. Zeke's going to get the first opportunity for touches, and Pollard basically, if he gets off to a hot start, we'll see. But roll with Zeke. I want to maybe watch for one more game with Tony Pollard. I don't think he can hurt us too bad from our bench, especially with some of the guys that you mentioned that you have there. The move had to be made. Davis Mill got picked up in the Fellowship League. Let me see. Yeah, I don't want anything to do with. So the Saints defense is pretty appealing this week. Should I start Tony Pollard or Cordero Patterson? That's a fun one. I'm curious. What do you guys think? What do you guys think in the chat room? Would you rather start Tony Pollard or Cordero Patterson? It feels like Tony Pollard's probably a little bit safer to trust. And I know I just kind of told the other guy to not use Tony Pollard. But would you rather use Cordero or Tony Pollard? They're kind of like in the same tier for me. But maybe you play the matchup. Cordero Patterson against the Atlanta Falcons or against the New York Giants seems to be pretty good. And if this is a PPR question, I can't see it if it was. If it's a PPR question, they're both going to catch passes. I just think Cordero Patterson probably got a little bit more volume in the passing game. What are your thoughts on David Montgomery? If you have David Montgomery, this is what you're waiting for. You've been waiting for Justin Fields to get in the lineup. So I see more potential for him to hit his ceiling now. He is losing passing work to Damian Williams, which is frustrating. So his ceiling is not going to be what it was in 2020. But the fact remains that he can be a running back too for you. He's going to be a fringe top 10, top 15 running back this week. So with Justin Fields, as long as he maintains the QB1 spot, I think Montgomery's in for a nice rest of the season. And then, yeah, we got fantasy basketball starting in 20 days. I'm going to be uploading my first mock draft tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Trey, thanks for hanging out, man. Evening. Good evening to you. Full PPR, bench 1, Robert Woods, Deontay, assuming he's full go, or Debo. Whew. Well, it'd be great if they just said, hey, Deontay's out now, and then we don't have to make a decision. But Deontay did not practice today. So did not practice with the knee injury. I really like Deontay Johnson. It just makes me wonder if we see him not practice tomorrow, then I'm nervous. But let's say he's a full go, like you're insinuating here. Bench 1, Robert Woods, Deontay Johnson, or Debo Samuel. I kind of want to get I like Debo probably the most going up against Green Bay. That one seems to be like a really good opportunity for that to get on. That game could be kind of a fast track where the offenses just keep rolling. And then in terms of Robert Woods and Deontay Johnson, Tampa Bay has been allowing a lot of, receiving weapons to be fruitful for fantasy. So let me just pull this up real quick. Looking at the teams that allow wide receiver points, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have allowed the second most wide receiver points in the league. That's 63.5 PPR points. That's been 5 touchdowns, 490 yards, and 48 catches. The next closest team to allow that many catches, it looks like it's the Washington football team with 39. So getting Robert Woods in there seems to make sense. Maybe they make our guy Cooper Kupp a priority on the defensive game plan here. So I'm leaning towards Robert Woods being in the lineup, and I guess we'll bench Deontay Johnson here, even though it's a good matchup against the Bengals. But I'm leaning towards just getting Deontay on the bench. And then, how do you feel about Rondale Moore? I'm glad you asked. I've been excited about Rondale Moore. He was a guy that I was kind of talking about a week or two ago. He's been getting a lot of high volume touches. When he's on the field, they like to get him the ball. He's currently the number 4 receiver in terms of snaps in Arizona, but again, when he's on the field, they're scheming something to get him the ball, whether it's a quick screen. We got to see him get some more handoffs and stuff yet. But Rondale Moore, man, he's a guy that probably needs to be on your bench. His role, especially as a young rookie playing really well 2 weeks into the season, they're going to want to grow that role for him. So Rondale Moore could be a cheat code come November here for fantasy. Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary. Whew, that's tough. What has the Washington football team been doing for running backs here? So they've been pretty stingy against running backs. They've only allowed 1 touchdown, 42 carries, 162 yards, 4 for 16. So Singletary does not have a great matchup going up against Washington. So in this case, maybe it makes sense to play Tony Pollard. Let me just check one more thing real quick. I'm leaning towards saying Devin Singletary, but they're really kind of in the same tier. So maybe you go with the Monday night appeal of Tony Pollard. And go with Tony Pollard there. What do you think about giving Kupp for Najee straight up? In a PPR league, I'm not doing it. I want Cooper Kupp on my team in full PPR league. So I like Najee Harris, but Pittsburgh's not going to be able to run the ball very well this year. The opportunity for Najee Harris, basically you're banking on him getting the ball 20 times a game, adding 3 or 4 receptions, and just hoping that he can get 60 to 80 yards through all of his touches. Whereas Cooper Kupp, man, like you're getting a guy that he's at a clip of putting almost 30 points per game up on the board. So I'm going to hold Cooper Kupp. It's clear that he is the guy there for Matt Stafford. So I really like it. And then the second part of this, because I need a running back and I have Tyreek, DK, and Tyler. So I'm not really losing much if I give up Kupp for Najee, since Kupp has been on my bench. Well, we got to move Cooper Kupp up. If anything, I think I would. So that's Tyler Lockett. I think I would prefer to move DK or Lockett. I would rather just get one piece of the Seattle offense. Because I think you want to keep Cooper Kupp. If you're looking at moving a guy here, I guess you could also, if you wanted to keep both Seattle guys, if you like Russ Wilson, you could potentially move Tyreek Hill for a top, you can maybe move Tyreek Hill for an Aaron Jones or something like that, a really high-end switcheroo there. So Cooper Kupp, though, that's probably the one guy that I want to keep on my team for sure. And then who should I – Gabriel, thanks for the question. Who should I put in my flex? Rondale Moore, A.J. Brown, or Mike Williams? A.J. Brown, we can't set our studs. I don't want you to miss an A.J. Brown 6 for 132 and 2 touchdowns day. It's against the Colts. The Colts defense has been, giving up some touchdowns, so I'm going to roll with A.J. Brown in this one. Jason, should I trade Damian Harris, Brandon Cooks, and Fields for Jefferson, Gaskin, and Trey Lance? You already have Brady, Clyde, Zeke, Ayuk, and Juju. So trading Damian Harris, and basically getting Gaskin as a replacement. Brandon Cooks, but upgrading to Justin Jefferson. Getting rid of Fields and getting Trey Lance. You have Tom Brady, so who gives a crap about the backup quarterback? Like, you're doing great. And then with Gaskin to Damian Harris, I like this. I'm going to say do it, man. Justin Jefferson, he outweighs all of these guys. Myles Gaskin, you can expect him to be a high-floor PPR kind of guy. So I'm going to say go for it. Get Justin Jefferson. Trey Lance, we're still waiting to see him hit the field as a starter, but Justin Jefferson, he severely outweighs everything else in this group, and because you already have Tom Brady, I would go cash in those chips for JJ. Pick 2, Damian Harris. Gibson, Hunt, Tyrell Williams. Tyrell Williams is not playing this weekend. He's already crossed off. Nyheim Hines, we're going to cross him off. James Conner, interesting. Leonard Fournette, interesting. Tony Pollard, interesting. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Antonio Gibson's the one guy. We're going to circle him for pick 1 of 2. And then outside of, Damien Harris against you got a rookie quarterback here that's just going to keep handing the ball off. So I feel really safe with Damien Harris. It doesn't feel sexy, but Damien Harris, man, he looked really good in his touches last week. I think Antonio Gibson and probably Damien Harris are the safer 2. If you want to get a little risky, Antonio Gibson and Kareem Hunt would be the next one. If this is PPR, you can go with Kareem Hunt. I think that I wouldn't think twice about that. So those are the 3 guys that you want to look at. And maybe that was supposed to say Tyson Williams. I had an offer to give Tyreek and Kareem Hunt for Aaron Jones and Calvin Ridley. So should I do that instead? Because I really need a running back. Do it. Go get Aaron Jones and Calvin Ridley. This is nuts. Yes, you want Calvin Ridley and Aaron Jones. Those are 2 second-round picks. You're cashing in Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt, who was like, what, a 6th or 7th round pick? Yeah, go get Aaron Jones and Calvin Ridley. That's fantastic, man. Calvin Ridley's going to be fine, dudes. Like, he's going to be fine. I know Matt Ryan stinks right now, but Calvin Ridley's good. And I guess speaking of Calvin Ridley, we're here at the Falcons and the Giants game. On the Falcons side, Matt Ryan, barely a quarterback 2 for Superflex leagues. Mike Davis, barely a running back 2 in PPR. I guess he can be a high-floor PPR guy. But Calvin Ridley, continue running him out there. Continue running Kyle Pitts out. We got a lot of Cordero Patterson questions. I kind of view Mike Davis and Cordero Patterson as the same right now. I need more information, but they're both fringe top 30 running backs. Say no to the defense here. Russell Gage is already ruled out. We're looking at the Giants, who actually really excite me. I thought Daniel Jones looked fantastic. Saquon Barkley's coming back off 10 days of rest. He should be good to go. I think he's going to be a top 10, top 12 running back this week. You're trying to get Sterling Shepard in any lineup that you can in PPR. And Kenny Golladay, I know people are like, oh, it's Kenny Golladay, but he had 8 targets last week. He actually looked really good running his routes. He was getting open. Just Daniel Jones was off on a couple of those throws. I think Kenny Golladay finds the end zone this week. And then maybe the Giants defense if you need a streamer. If Evan Ingram is available in your league and you need a tight end, you can stash Evan Ingram, see what happens. Darius Slayton, kind of just too risky for me at the moment. It was kind of a crazy situation last weekend. But Falcons and Giants, the Falcons are playing for their season. The Giants also need a win pretty badly. So kind of a grimy grudge match to send the other team to their own death. When you're doing the mock for B-Ball tomorrow, I'll see if I can. I'm gonna probably. I don't know if I'm doing a live stream tomorrow. We kind of got to do it at a weird hour, so I think we're just gonna upload it, but it'll be available tomorrow night for you guys to watch. And no problem, man. Go enjoy Aaron Jones and Calvin Ridley. That's pretty sick. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. We got maybe about 10 minutes left in the show, so I'm gonna try to rifle through all these situations real quick for the rest of the video viewers. But Roethlisberger, barely a quarterback 2 in Superflex leagues. You're going to continue to roll out Najee Harris every week if you have him. Juju, Claypool, these guys are all wide receiver 3 flexes. I think Deontay Johnson, if he plays, you kind of want to try to get him in there. But again, we'll watch the participation for Deontay the rest of the week. Go ahead and start the Steelers defense. Say no to Eric Ebron. Say no to James Washington. Pat Freiermuth, though, let's see what he can do. He had a nice game last week. He's beating Eric Ebron in snaps and touches so far through 2 games. Joe Burrow, quarterback 2 Superflex leagues. You got to roll out Joe Mixon as a running back too. I know it's probably not going to be pretty, but he can be used as a receiver. T. Higgins, we're going to watch his practice report, see if he's good to go. If he plays, you're going to play him. If not, you're really going to like Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. I think either way, Boyd and Chase are both flex plays. Say no to the Bengals D. CJ Uzomah, Drew Sample, tight ends, whatever. Well, and then I'm still kind of watching the backup running back spot here. Arizona and Jacksonville. We'll kind of be quick with this one. I play your brother in the Fellowship League. I need some good advice play, don't you know? Yes, that's pretty fun. We'll pull that up. We'll look at it in a second here. The Cardinals and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Marvin Jones is the only guy that I'm going to recommend on the Jaguars side here. I need to see more James Robinson, Trevor Lawrence, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault. I need to see someone do good before I trust them. I think Marvin Jones is the only guy I trust. Kyler Murray, you're starting him. Chase Edmonds, get him in as a PPR running back too. Hopkins, of course. But Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, James Conner, these guys are interesting flex plays. And Max Williams, can we get an encore for that? That was nice. 7 catches, 94 yards last week. I want to see if he can do it again. Go ahead and start the Cardinals defense. AJ Green, man, I saw some cut-ups of him blocking last weekend, and he just has like no effort. So AJ Green kind of pisses me off. But continue to use Kirk, Rondale Moore, James Conner. I got to get Max Williams on this list just once instead of twice. But interesting. We're going to move to the late games real quick. Look at all the starters I got here for the Jets. We're not trusting anybody on the Jets side of things. I'm open to Michael Carter, though. Carter's hanging around your waiver wire. He looked really good last weekend against the Patriots, so he's one guy I'm warming up to. Corey Davis, we're going to hold. We'll see what happens. Zach Wilson's apparently got a little injury right now that he's nursing. It just doesn't look good for any of these guys. I think the only players I want to hold on to are Elijah Moore, Carter, Corey Davis. Just bench them. We'll see if they can hit before we trust them. Denver side of things, Teddy Bridgewater, maybe a super flex QB2. Cortland Sutton looks pretty dang good after last week. Tim Patrick, probably a wide receiver 3 flex. Noah Fant is a top 5 tight end option. And then I think I'm going to try to get Javonte and Melvin in if you can. If you need the help there, I think both can be running back 2s this week. The Dolphins and the Raiders, Jacoby Brissett's going to start. Quarterback 2, desperation super flex play. What do we trust here? Is it Jalen Waddle as a high floor flex play? Is that Myles Gaskin going to catch a few balls here? Devontae Parker, Will Fuller. If Fuller plays, I'm kind of just nervous about all 3 wide receivers here. I think Waddle's probably the safest play, but I'm going to try to avoid Dolphins if I can. If you need help in a PPR league, Myles Gaskin does feel pretty safe for a high floor. But the Raiders, man, the 2-0 Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr, he could be a quarterback 1 if you need him to be. But Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs, if Jacobs plays, you're going to try to get him in. But I still like Kenyon Drake here as a PPR running back 2. Darren Waller is a beast, so you're getting him in. But Hunter Renfrow, he's gotten double-digit PPR points the last 2 weeks. He's kind of a low-floor guy that no one's really talking about. And then you get Henry Ruggs. If you're feeling risky, feeling dangerous, you can whip Henry Ruggs out there. And then I don't know. I don't really trust the Dolphins or the Raiders defense. And then we're kind of just watching all the rest of these guys on our bench before we trust them. Let me see what we got here. Should I try trade Kamara for Eckler and Kupp? Yeah, man. If you can trade Kamara for Eckler and Cooper Kupp, let's do that. That's a steal. At this point, that's a steal. I mean, I would prefer Austin Eckler over Kamara right now. And then if you're telling me you get Eckler and Kupp, this is a no-brainer. Let's do that. The T stat, only 5 Ts have over 5 targets both the first few games. Those are the guys. Those are the guys this year. Those are the ones you want. Mark Andrews is kind of failing some people right now. I think Logan Thomas is nice. So there's kind of like still like a big 7 or 8. Gronk has been fantastic too. So yeah, if you got Kelsey, Waller, Hawk, Pitts, Fant, you're getting those guys in your lineup every week. Tampa Bay and the LA Rams. Tom Brady and Stafford, they're both quarterback 1s this week. If you guys have questions, let me know. I'm getting Godwin, Evans, Kupp, and Robert Woods in my lineups if I can. Same thing with Gronkowski and Tyler Higbee. Leonard Fournette and Daryl Henderson, they're both fringe running back 2 flex plays. Not excited about the running back matchups, especially for Daryl Henderson, but he has been punching it in from the 5-yard line. So I like Henderson as a touchdown play. Leonard Fournette as a high floor PPR play. Both defenses could be used. This could be a low-scoring game for all we know. But Jones, Sony, Van Jefferson, I'll leave these guys on the bench. Leave it kind of everybody up here on the screen. These are the guys that you're trying to get on your team here. A 55-point implied total here, and it's only a 1 favored game to the Rams. This one's probably my favorite game of the weekend so far. Seattle, Minnesota, though. This one's going to be a lot of points. You got to get like these guys. This is a stud game for fantasy football. Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins. It's going to be a duel for quarterbacks. Chris Carson, you're getting Carson in your lineup. Tyler Lockett, Metcalf, you're getting those guys in. You're getting Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen in. No question. These guys should be non-negotiable. But Dalvin Cook, if he plays, you're starting him up. If he's out, all of a sudden Alexander Madison's going to get moved up to a running back too. So check your waiver wires. If Madison is the starter, you're going to want to get him in there somehow. And then KJ Osborne. We got a couple KJ Osborne questions tonight. I'm actually going to have to end up starting him in one league that I play in as a PPR as a PPR wide receiver 4 for me in the flex spot. So I'm open to it. And again, it's a 55-point in total implied total here. So maybe KJ Osborne keeps rolling here with some nice play. And then defenses, no thanks. Gerald Everett. I was frustrated that Gerald Everett didn't play much better last week, but he dominated the snaps. Like, he significantly outsnapped Will Dissly. Like, he is the guy running the routes. I like the usage here. Maybe against Minnesota he scores. Tyler Conklin, don't sleep on him. I think he could be an interesting tight end sleeper if you need to. And then Freddie Swain, Travis Homer, Alex Collins, yada, yada, yada. But enjoy this one. I think the afternoon slate, I'm going to be watching Brady versus Stafford, and then this Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins duel. Let's move on to Sunday Night Football real quick. We're looking at the options here. Aaron Rodgers, you're gonna leave him in your lineup. We got the question of Rodgers over Fields. I'm still taking Rodgers. Jimmy Garoppolo, just a quarterback too for Superflex. You're getting Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams in there for sure. You got to find a way to get Debo in your lineup, and you're leaving Kittle in there for sure. I think Robert Tonyan does have some nice appeal here as a top 5, top 10 tight end this week. If he gets a touchdown, he's going to be good. If not, he's got to get a little bit higher of a floor here. So if you have questions on Tonyan, I can answer those. But Elijah Mitchell, I don't think he practiced today. Let me see what Elijah Mitchell did. Elijah Mitchell did not practice with that shoulder injury, so they are just dinged up. Jermichael Hasty didn't practice. Elijah Mitchell didn't practice. But Trey Sermon got a limited one in with a concussion. So check your waiver wires for Trey Sermon. If he gets the start, I'm interested. We know Green Bay is not very good against the run. I'm probably just going to say no to both defenses in this one. We're leaving all these guys on our bench. Brandon Ayuk, you need to prove it to us before we trust you. MVS, it's a shot in the dark, hope and a prayer kind of thing. But I can see the offense wants to give MVS some deep shots here. So I'm not going to be surprised if he scores. But pretty much just get everybody up here from Tonyan and Kittle on up. It's going to be a heavy Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams game. Maybe the defenses take over in this one. I don't know. I'm excited. We got to see if the Packers can back up what they did against the Lions and see if San Fran can move to 3-0. Monday Night Football. This one's going to be fun for fantasy. Hurts and Prescott are in for sure. Sanders is a running back too. Ezekiel Elliott, I lowered to a running back too. I still like him, but against the Eagles might be a little bit tougher matchup. You're starting CeeDee Lamb. You're starting Amari Cooper. Dallas Goedert, maybe. Did Zach Ertz practice today? Let me just look this up real quick. So because it's Monday, I don't see we're not going to see Wednesday reports for the Philly guys. So Goddard can be a fringe tight end 1. I'm leaning towards getting Devonta Smith in my lineup. Tony Pollard, tons of questions on Tony Pollard tonight. I would lean as probably trying to get him in as my PPR running back 2 or flex. There's just been a ton of questions, but it's been kind of tough to answer those. I'm probably going to say no to Ertz and Jalen Reagor. Probably going to say no to the defenses. But watch for some of these guys on the bench. Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, still useful as tight ends. We just need one to separate. And then Kenneth Gainwell and Quez Watkins, I can see those guys making plays. But a really fun Monday Night Football game here. Dallas 52 points implied, -4 towards the Dallas Cowboys side. So let me look real quick here. I'm in the fellowship. I'm the fellowship. My whole bench. Yeah, I've been hit with some bad injuries so far this season, so it's been frustrating. But that was it. The start sit chart show for you guys. I'm going to take tomorrow night off. I think I'm going to plan to go live on Saturday evening. I think as of right now, it's going to be 7 p.m. Central Time. So we'll see you guys then. Thank you so much in the chat room. We had a bunch of new people. I love answering the questions. And we do this every Wednesday evening. So if you guys need questions, hang out with us on Wednesdays. We do the waiver wire show on Tuesdays, and then I try to go live Friday or Saturday. This week it's going to be Saturday. So thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your evening. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.